Hey everybody, it's Rob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to get some gaming supplies for terrain for $5 or less. I'm going to show you a lot of different things, and not all of it. Obviously, you can't buy everything and it'd be $5 or less. But what my point is that no one thing did I pay more than $5 for. So most of what I'm going to discuss today deals with miniature gaming, skirmish gaming, but there are a lot of people these days that like to use terrain and 3D objects and stuff in their role-playing games, and a lot of this can be used for that as well. So just let's dive in. In one of my previous videos, I talked about the bags of gem rocks that you can get from the dollar store. I had two of them I picked up for $1 a piece and glued them onto a base, and you could use them just like that as part, scatter terrain for a crystalline forest, or just, terrain in your RPG. I chose to paint mine up because I wanted mainly to use them for Frostgrave. Probably do some more for Stargrave and do them a different color, but I chose to paint mine up to look like piles of icy rocks, and this is how they turned out. I ended up doing about 5 of these bases like this, which gives me a decent amount of scatter terrain to put on the table, and I think they look pretty good. We've been happy with them. But I mean, I bought 2 bags of those rocks, and they were $1 a piece. A pack of those bases with like 6 bases in it is I think $1.50 at Michael's. And then the rest of it's just some hot glue and some paint. Or did I might have used Gorilla Glue on that. But, I ended up getting 5 big bases like that for, less than $4. So if you're looking for some scatter terrain that you can use, that you want to look like chunks of ice or chunks of rock or crystals or whatever, that's a great way to go about it. Hit your Dollar Tree or and everything's a dollar type store. In their craft section, Dollar Tree definitely has those bags of the gem rocks for $1 a piece, and as you can see, they worked out fantastic. Let's see. So I've been into the last day's skirmish game here lately, so I've been having to build up a lot of terrain to use in that game because I didn't have a lot of modern style terrain, and one of the things I wanted was I wanted 1/43rd scale or 1/45th scale. I think it's 1/43rd scale cars and trucks to put on the table. Now you can find these at Target and Walmart and stuff like that, and they range from about $5 to $10 a piece if they're no name. Some of them they have like there's Avengers cars or the Ghostbusters, Ecto 1 stuff like that's going to be more expensive. But just your generic cars are going to be over $5. Some places charge as much as $20 for these things. And, they've got a lot of detail. Little doors that open. They look really good. I didn't paint this. This is actually made to look dirty. So, I got to thinking about it as I was getting stuff together to play the game. And I was like, you know what? Would be a great place to look for these kind of cars? The flea market. Flea markets, yard sales, stuff like yard sales are kind of hit or miss. You never know what you're going to find there. A flea market, you're almost guaranteed to find stuff like this with people selling toys. And I went out there and I bought, let's see, 6 of these vehicles. I'll show you like 3 of them today. But I bought 6 of these vehicles, and I paid between 50 cents and $2 per vehicle. So not bad at all. But I got this cool, little truck. This is my favorite. I like it a lot. Let's see. I got a cool taxi cab. It looks really good. And this one's funny story on this one. So this one, I was looking at this car, and if you can see, the windshield is cracked and the back window is cracked on it. And I'm looking at the guy's cars, and as I'm looking at him, he sees me run my finger over the crack. Now, I want these for a zombie apocalypse game where stuff tends to get torn up anyway. And he sees me look at the crack, and he goes, "Oh, you know what? I'll knock $1 off." So I got it for $1, right? He knocks $1 off, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, I mean, yeah, he's knocking it off because the windshield's cracked, but I wanted the windshield cracked, so works for me. So if you have a decent local flea market, and you're looking for modern cars that are going to fit with roughly 28 millimeter figures, I suggest checking there because you can generally find toys like that on the cheap. You can do the yard sale thing. Sometimes you'll run across somebody getting rid of a box full of old kid toys, and it'll have stuff like that in it, and you can get it real cheap. I'm a very cheap person, obviously. I'm always trying to find a deal and a way to do my terrain and my stuff for my games with spending as little as possible. So that's a great way to get some cars if you're looking for stuff for a modern game, especially a zombie apocalypse style game, whether it's an RPG or skirmish game like Last Days. Now these got a bag full of zombies. There's like 40 of them in here with a couple of different, three or four different poses. These you can get on Miniature Market. I think they were $5 a pack. I could be wrong about that because my buddy Jason bought these. They may have been $10, so that might not be under $5. They were under $5 at one time, so they go on sale, so keep an eye out for them. But they're not always. When they're regular price, they're $10. But if you watch for the sales, you can get them for $5, and each box comes with like 20 zombies in it. So, role-playing game, Last Days, whatever, zombie apocalypse. If you need a bunch of zombies, you can get them pretty cheap, but I would definitely wait and grab them when they're $5 a pack. The only thing I don't care for about them, I'll open one up, so I'll show you one up close. I'm not sure how much detail you can see on him. The camera's not that fantastic. It doesn't look bad, but I don't like the bases on them. Everything else I do is in round bases. And speaking of bases, if you need bases for any kind of miniatures, especially if you need like 1-inch bases, which is what I'm going to put these guys on, you can go to your local hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, and buy a box of these. They are 1/8-inch thick 1-inch washers. And you get 100 of them for like $5. And you can take these washers, glue one of these guys on them, and then go to painting them up. Put some ground effect on the washer if you want to, but then paint them up. I use these washers for a lot of stuff instead of paying some of the crazy prices for bases that companies want. So what else have I been doing with zombie apocalypse stuff? Well, not just zombie apocalypse, but here's another great thing that you can find at Michael's, in there where they have all their felt stuff. You can get these. I haven't opened this one yet, but this is a basic felt mat. It is 36 by 36, so it is 3 foot by 3 foot, which most skirmish games that are out there are played on a 3 foot by 3 foot, and it's a felt mat. So it look, it's green. It looks like it. It doesn't look as good, obviously, as those 3x3 mats from Frontline Gaming, but you're going to pay between $45 and $60 for those neoprene mats. Whereas these bad boys you can snatch up for like $4.50 a piece. I grabbed this one, and right up there is the white one that I've been using for my Frostgrave games. And for $4.50 a piece, this is fantastic if you need a mat to play on real quick and you don't want to spend 45 or 50 bucks, 60 bucks, whatever, on a neoprene mat. You can go to Michael's and they have them in assorted colors. I got this one to do a grass field because I have a neoprene mat that's like, city streets. And then that one I obviously got for Frostgrave to do, snow. But that's a good under $5 essential gaming supply that you're going to need. While I was at Michael's, I got some other stuff. And these, now I'm not going to show you everything today because there's some that I got to get them ready to show you. These were actually brought to my attention by DM James. Over on his channel, he was making some buildings for his Cyberpunk game, and they look fantastic. He did a really good job with them. Go check out his channel. It's just DM James. I love watching his videos, and this gave me the idea. I was like, at first I didn't really have a use for it because I don't have anybody playing Cyberpunk or anything modern at the time, but because we are moving into playing Last Days, I needed modern buildings. So you can get these boxes at Michael's in varying sizes. A big one like this was like $5, and then one like this was like $2 or $2.50, something like that. I haven't done anything with those two yet, but I bought 4 of these, and I did something with the other 2. And if you're on Rob's Game Group on Facebook, you've probably already seen the photos of that. But I still wanted to show off where I got the base idea from, and that was DM James doing this on his channel. And he uses a lot more 3D print stuff than I have access to. So a lot of mine is stuff that I'm making by hand. But you take the lid off of one of those boxes, flip it upside down. He does his where you can take them on and off. I glued mine to it. It's permanent. But you could flip it, glue it onto the bottom of it, and create a building. And you have a rooftop up here for people to move around on. I haven't finished these yet. These are still in the process because I'm still working out things I want to do around the doors and windows, and just kind of playing with some ideas. But I got a garage door in the back. This is going to be painted up like a light. This is not finished, but it's going to be like a rooftop air conditioner. And then, boarded up windows from the inside. But that's what I did with the white one. And then the bigger one, again, I got my garage doors all the way around because this building's going to be a garage. And then the Coke lid, little piece of some kind of terrain I got from somewhere, and then this fan I put on top to make an air conditioner with the top actually came out of this pack from the dollar store, which had a drone in it with all these fans on it. So I just cut them off and put it on there. So now I have an air conditioner up here. But yeah, that's $1, and then I'll probably use these other weapons and pieces on different sci-fi terrain. Again, I went from the inside and glued in all of my boards covering my windows and a door, and then I got roll-up doors all the way around. And the roll-up doors are very, very simple if you don't know this trick. If you know this trick, I'm not showing you anything new, but if you don't know this trick, you can take a piece of cardboard and peel the top layer off of the cardboard and then clean it up some, and it creates this there's this corrugated cardboard underneath, and you can use this for, like, I don't know, rooftop stuff or whatever. I use it for these roll-up doors, which ends up looking pretty dang good. It'll look even better when it's painted. But I just cut a piece out and tape it or glue it on the inside. And the windows are all boarded up with just the little flat sticks that I get from Walmart for a couple of bucks for like a pack of 50 or 100. My ladders on the outside, my ladder cages, these are from the dollar store as well. You can get a pack of hair curlers, and then you just peel this pink fuzzy stuff on the outside off. It's just taped on, or maybe cheap glued, I don't know, but it just pulls right off. And then you have these cages that you can glue together to represent ladder cages on the outside of the buildings. And like I said, I still have some work that I want to do with those, sprucing them up a little bit. I've got some signage that I want to put on there, and then once they're painted, I'll probably do some graffiti and so on and so forth. Probably not going to do the other two boxes exactly the same way. I'm thinking about maybe doing something like putting them together and making a bigger building, not just making it one building. But yeah, those work out really good. Thank you, James, for showing that on your channel, because I never would have known to look for those at Michael's until you said something. But yeah, I love having the rooftop area that you can put the miniatures on. You know, they can get some cover, get in sniper positions. It's really fantastic. Good, and he did his up more, like I said, cyberpunk. But because I was doing mine for a zombie apocalypse game, I wanted mine to look like, you know, these were last stand buildings. So let's see, what else did I get that I've been using? Well, there's a mission in Frostgrave called the Orb, where you have this big cool orb in the center of the table, and you have to like destroy it to get to the central treasure. So I wanted to make some type of orb model, and this is what I came up with. It looks pretty good. This is not painted. I'm gonna paint it, but again, Coke bottle top, a base that I stuck it on, like a 40 mil base, and this is just a ping pong ball. You can get a pack of like 6 of these ping pong balls at the dollar store, and you know, I still got plenty of them over there. I'm probably going to do some more of these just to use as weird terrain to put around Frostgrave, or maybe to use in my Stargrave game. But you could also use stuff like this as cool terrain, you know, paint it up, but use it as cool terrain pieces on your map for a D&D game or basic fantasy or whatever you're playing. Really neat terrain that you can just toss out there, and you know, cost $1. So that's really about it, I guess. That's the projects that I'm currently working on, and I'll probably show them off again once I get the buildings painted and the orbs painted and so on and so forth. But my goal here was really just to show you some pieces that I got for less than $5, where I got them, because I know that I would not have thought about some of the stuff. One of the viewers actually mentioned the hair curler thing in the last Dollar Tree video, Dollar Tree terrain video thing I did, and I had not thought about that, so I went and got some and tried it out, and it worked great. The orb, I was literally in the Dollar Tree and I was looking around for something, some type of toy ball or something that I could use to make an orb miniature. And most of them they had in there had, you know, the ridges on them for, like, you know, the baseball stitching or basketball or whatever. And I didn't want that. I wanted something smooth. And I came around a corner. There's a whole pegboard on the end that had these ping pong balls, six of them for $1. And they're smooth, so they worked out great. But that's really just, that's kind of it. I just wanted to show you guys where I got some of this stuff and show you, you know, some ideas that maybe you haven't thought of that you can use for your own terrain projects. And I hope you found something useful out of it. I'm probably going to be back with more of these because I'm always finding great deals on things we can use as terrain. And I'm going to share it with my community. That's what I do here. So if you enjoyed this video and you stayed this long listening to me ramble, and you like the kind of videos I put up, then, you know, consider hitting the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. You know, give a thumbs up, put a comment in there. All that helps with the algorithm to circulate the videos. If you'd like to communicate with me more or see some of the projects before maybe they come up on a video, or some stuff that doesn't make it to video, you can always find me on Facebook at Rob's Game Group. I'll put a link in the description below. And until next time, my friends, good gaming and good luck.